The Scottish SPCA is on the front line in the fight against animal cruelty. And every year the charity saves thousands of pets, livestock and wildlife. We're going behind the scenes at the Society to reveal how they rescue Scotland's injured, abused and neglected animals. Coming up...
They're saying he only gets out once for a pee and he's not getting a big walk or anything.
Yes, please.
And what's got tangled in these football nets?
Well, one of them was stuck in here, and then the other one was over here.
Red foxes are one of the animals most closely associated with the countryside in Scotland. These critters at the Scottish SPCA's Wildlife Rescue Centre in Clackmannanshire look lovable, but because of the way they've been cared for by staff, they're as wild as they can be. The animals in these compounds are healthy and just about ready to be released. Their story started months ago. And be warned, what you are about to see is unbearably cute.
Her and her sisters got brought into a vet in Dundee. There was 4 of them in total. They were only a couple of days old, so the vixen wouldn't have left them. So the fact that someone brought them in, the vixen either died or the burrow had been disturbed. So she's now 2 weeks old. She's gone up from 4 mils to 20 mils, and she's getting quite a voice on her and getting quite strong now as well. So hopefully it all works out for her.
The cub has a mild case of nappy rash, so Claire has to put cream on her paws and girly bits to soothe her pain. This little cub's eyes won't open for another week or 2. Once Claire has finished weaning her, she'll be placed in a room with other cubs and put on a diet of puppy food. After about 3 months, she'll end up in a grassy paddock before being released into woodland. And we'll be with her every step of the way. This is a cautionary tale for those of us who forget to tidy up our football nets in the garden when they're not being used. Animal Rescue Officer Simon Wharton is in Bonar Bridge near Inverness, where he's investigating a thorny issue.
3 trapped hedgehogs that are caught in football netting, so we're just going to see if we can get the netting off them and get them released. We'll see how badly bound they are. We'll just take it one hedgehog at a time, basically, and see how it goes.
One of them was stuck in here, and then the other one was over here, and then the one that was very bad tangled that was here. When we found it, it was like all wrapped up, like it was struggling because it was panicking. So, and the other ones were pretty bad tangled up, but they weren't as worse, and they were calmer.
We cut away as much netting as we could, but the tighten up, you couldn't get the netting inside the ball. It was probably wrapped around their feet and that,
It's quite bad. It's really tight around that leg there, and I can't really get inside to see what other legs it's wrapped round. This one's sticking out, so there's obviously a problem here because that leg should be tucked right in. So there's obviously a big problem. I'm going to get these to the vet.
Knightswood, in the northwest of Glasgow. Senior Inspector Nikki Scott's been told about a German Shepherd dog that's been kept in a high-rise and has apparently never walked.
Oh, joy. I'm going up to see a guy about a dog. Genuinely, I'm going up to see a guy about a dog.
Sometimes you have to wait to get into the flats.
What flat are you in?
But on this occasion, Inspector Nikki strikes it lucky.
Is you I'm coming to see?
Out of all the people living here, Nikki's bumped into the person with the German Shepherd.
I've had a complaint about it not getting out.
Look, my dog's my son will say, after my dog gets cracked on, after my dog at 11:30.
Can we come up and see him?
I come up in every single night after my dog at 11:30, through the grass. That's why my dog gets out.
Right, well come up. Is it alright to come up and see him? Does he get out during the day as well?
Yes.
They're saying he only gets out once for a pee and he's not getting a big walk or anything.
Please.
High flats are not an ideal environment for a big dog like a German Shepherd.
Hi, Major.
What conditions will Nikki find upstairs? Back at Fishcross, and it's time to catch up with our little female fox cub.
This is our mammal facility, and this is where we can keep things like otters, badgers, foxes. In particular, we're dealing with quite a few foxes at the moment. And it's a facility we simply didn't have at the old centre, so it's a real boost for us and a real bonus. And now Sheila's just about to feed some of the young foxes.
The last time we saw our baby vixen, she was being hand-fed, but a month later, she's moved on to pet food. She's in with other cubs and will learn social skills just like she would in her natural environment. Then in about 2 months' time, the vixen will be transferred to an outside paddock to begin the final stage of her journey back to the wild. Feral pigeons. Thousands of them roost in the undersides of railway bridges because they resemble traditional nesting sites like caves and crevices. But sometimes, even these hardy creatures can get into bother. There's been a call that one is injured near a tunnel close to Murrayfield Stadium in Edinburgh. It's next to a busy road, so Animal Rescue Officer Connie O'Neill will have to find the pigeon quickly if it's to avoid serious injury by one of the passing vehicles. Each year, hundreds of these birds get knocked down and killed near to where they're roosting. So let's hope Connie's in time to save this one.
Yeah, it's a little feral pigeon. Savable. It's not able to fly yet, it's not ready to. It's still got the little yellow feathers showing you that it's a baby.
If Connie hadn't rescued this baby pigeon, then it's likely to have been run over by a vehicle. Now it's snug and comfortable in her basket, it'll be released in a safer location. Remember our hedgehogs that Animal Rescue Officer Simon Wharton found caught up in football nets in Bonar Bridge? Well, they're just about to be examined by a vet.
Just one of them coming out, or all three of them?
It's the smallest one, really. Is it this one here?
One at the top there?
Yeah, I think that's him that's got, but I'll probably need to check them all.
Right, that's fine. That's pretty stuck, isn't it? Yeah, I think there's a chance it's wrapped around the head there, so I think we're probably better to give him a bit of gas and take that off. This is the first time I've seen an injury like this. It's quite common for them to come in with ticks and cuts and things like that, and bites from other animals, but not so much this. I don't think it would be worth gassing these ones. They're looking quite healthy. I don't think there's any problems with them. So
I don't know how long they were in the net for. This one was really
so if you leave this one with me, it's not curling as well as it should do either. So I'll give it some gas and we'll get a better look and see if there's any more wounds or anything there. If it's all okay and there's no open wounds, then I'll just send this one over to you as well then.
Right. It's a happy ending for 2 of the hedgehogs, but the third one looks as if he might be in real trouble. Later, Major's owner isn't happy.
I said, the only time my dog barks, if that door goes.
And moving foxes is a risky business.
They're a bit scared just now, so they'll definitely give you a good snip.
Our fox cub is now 3 months old and she's been doing really well indoors at the Wildlife Rescue Centre. So now it's time to move her and her friends from the mammal unit to an outside paddock.
The main problem that we face is tameness, because they've got to be handled to be cared for. There is that risk that they can become tame and possibly too tame for release. And that's why we get involved in all these different procedures where they're moved from place to place, they're moved from person to person so that they don't get too familiar with one individual. And then at the final stage, which is what we're going to do now, they'll see somebody maybe once a day. And within a couple of months, they'll be wild and ready to release.
Once they're hand-reared, they get passed over to me, so it's somebody totally new. So once they're with me, they're a little bit more wild. They're
Wilds, and they're a bit scared just now, so they'll definitely give you a good nip.
This is the final stage for these cubs before being released. They'll be put into a grassy paddock with other foxes, where they'll learn how to compete for food. Crucially, there'll be no physical contact with any of the Fishcross staff.
Once we're out, they'll settle down, and then everybody will start interacting and having a wee bit of a playtime, really.
Our vixen doesn't seem keen to get into the great outdoors.
Just a little bit more unsure.
But eventually, she takes off and joins the rest of the gang.
There might be some squabbling over food, but it's generally just a bit of fun, and it doesn't come to much. Foxes are very social and they get on really well.
Our hamstrung hedgehog up in Inverness has been given an anaesthetic by vet Heather Baldwin.
Yeah, it's wrapped around his head here. And there's some fly eggs being laid around this site just because it's more of a wound. Oh, that looks quite sore. Good thing he was found. It doesn't look as if it's gone too deep, and if we can get rid of those eggs, then that's the main thing, because once the maggots set in, then it'd be very difficult to treat. So we need to clip all that hair away and give it a good clean.
Heather will be keeping this hedgehog in overnight.
Stop any of them.
And she'll be using an insecticide to stop the maggots from hatching and doing further damage. First, she has to shave off the hair so she can clean the fly eggs away.
Okay, do you want to get this small mask and just pop it over his mouth, and we'll just keep him under gas because he might start to come round then.
It looks like he's getting treatment just in time.
And probably passed away out there once the maggots all hatched and started burying into that wound. So it looks like he was picked up in the nick of time. We'll try and lift as many as we can, and then we'll put an insecticide on to try and kill the rest. The netting has dug its way into the skin, and then because it's been an open wound, it's attracted the flies to come and lay their eggs around it. But then now there's secondary infection going on as well in those wounds. But it's really just skin deep, so they should heal.
Yeah, it's cleaned up really well. It must have been really uncomfortable.
If all goes well, after a couple of days of painkillers and antibiotics, the hedgehog should be healthy enough to go back to the Scottish SPCA's Inverness Centre. Back in the high-rise block in Glasgow's Knightswood district, Nikki Scott's investigating claims a German Shepherd dog kept in one of the flats never gets any exercise. And it's not the first complaint.
Before that, it was, what was it called? He's always barking. I says, the only time my dog barks, if that door goes. And I says to Housen, if my door goes, he barks and he's there. Because I could open that door and somebody could stab me. I says, he just lets me know.
So how often is it getting actually
9
walked?
o'clock in the morning. It gets fed at 12. After that, it gets fed at 2. Then it gets fed at 4. They'll take it at 5. And if it doesn't, they take it back at 6. We get fed at 8 again. Then we take it back out at 9 or 10. And that'll be how we go for a news walk.
Hey, be nice. Major, come here. Look, I've got Major.
So is it
Owner Margaret can't understand why anyone would complain about 18-month-old Major.
I only speak to 2 people. It's called my neighbour. The woman down the stairs has got the Labrador. Up here. I don't talk to him up here. I just keep myself. I say I go to the shops. I take him out. That's the only time you'll see me if I'm going to the shops or I've got him out with me. I don't bother him up here.
The dog looks in good condition. He's still growing, so he hasn't filled out yet. And that doesn't worry Nikki. But something else she's spotted does.
His ears are a bit red. Is he ever scratching his ears?
He does it all the time.
Stop it! Come here! Major!
Doesn't look as though there's any mites or anything in it. They just look really quite red. But if you take them to PDSA, they'll give you drops, and all you need to do is literally put the drop in there, and they'll show you. You just rub it, and so you're not having to go in about it. And he should let you do it. But that's
usually that drops. I just get caught.
Is he scratching them a lot?
No, not really.
No.
I don't grate any. I don't grate any. I just see. For there, I clean all the dirty ears. I says, but I wouldn't take a chance to put my hand in his ear. I just stay round about it.
I would just run him past it. You're registered with the PDSA anyway?
We were registered with Sandy Hall's vets. Now the private one basically.
Right.
And we don't know if all our PDSA up here. So we know, so we'll get registered with them.
Right, that's fine.
So
Inspector Nicky's seen nothing to suggest Major's not being looked after properly. In fact, Margaret and son Stuart seem to be very responsible.
He certainly doesn't look like he's not being exercised. He's nice short nails. I suspect it'll probably be because it's barking. But having that dog sort of clumping about and barking and things, I would imagine that's probably what the main complaint is. But I didn't see a problem at all. The only thing, he's slightly red in his ears, nothing major, just a wee bit. Nothing major. Slight redness in his ears. I've just advised him to get to a vet for that, which I think they'll do because, I mean, he's been microchipped, he's been vaccinated, and the way they talk, he's been back and forward to a vet and things. So I've not had any concerns about it at all.
Let's find out how our little hedgehog discovered trapped in football nets near Inverness is getting on. The mesh had caused wounds around its head, which had become infested by maggots. After 3 days of treatment, he's doing fine. It's been a lucky escape, and he'll soon be strong enough to be released. It's D-Day for our little vixen. Well, not so little anymore, actually. She's nearly 7 months old, and she's ready to be set free along with 2 of her friends.
What we're going to do now, we're going to try and catch 3 of the foxes, take them to the release site. Because of the way we've reared them and we've treated them, they're just completely wild. So we've got to do this as quickly as we can. We're going to use a catching noose, and we're also going to use hands, depending on how the foxes react. Hopefully it'll be very quick and no one will get bitten.
Bitten? That's when you know these animals are wild and not as cute as they look. Catching them is going to be tricky. But Colin and his team are all experienced, and before too long they've grabbed the 3 foxes, including our vixen.
Okay.
Mission accomplished.
They're in really good condition, good reserve of fat on them, and they're going to be support fed where we're releasing them, so yeah, very good chance.
Got a good tail on them to keep them warm as well.
Colin doesn't want to stress these wild creatures, so it's important they're taken to the release site as quickly as possible. Many landowners don't want foxes released in their part of the countryside, but the Scottish SPCA has links with friendly farmers who welcome the new additions to the landscape.
This is a release site which is already inhabited by foxes. We know this because the people who own the land actually feed the foxes, so they've got supplementary food, they're looked after, they're cared for. It's a nice mixed habitat. We've got pine woods, we've got country park nearby, which is thousands of acres. We know there's no persecution in the area. It's as far away from roads as we can get. So, we're just giving them the best start possible. Okay, so who's this one then? That's another nice looking fox.
This is our female. We've had these guys a good few months, so it's good to see them go.
The vixen has come a long way since she was bottle fed. Will she take to her new surroundings?
Come on, Petal.
It's the moment of truth.
Come on. In you go.
What a fabulous result. She's off into a new habitat and a new life. The release of the other 2 foxes also went really well.
Hi, wee dude.
Here you go.
So it's been a successful day for Colin and Sheila.
You think we bottle rear some of these foxes, and yet you can release them as wild as that if it's done properly. The catch-up went really well. The release site's great. They get support fed. We couldn't ask for better, really.
The first one was a wee bit unsure, but the rest of them just started off. So, but no, they're way happy.